Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. It is time once again for another complete look at everything being released from Kino Lorber. This spotlight is for the month of January 2024. December was kind of lean. January is not. This is over 24 releases. Full disclosure, there's a few things that were solicited for January that aren't here yet. We'll talk about those in a future video. And here's another just peek behind the scenes. I was waiting for a delivery to arrive, and it just did, like just a few minutes ago. So we're going to kick off coverage with Kindergarten Cop, which is one of those titles that just showed up. It's a 4K release. We got another 4K release in The Begins. These are still sealed. I've had zero time to look at them. I wanted this video to go up while it was still January, so I'm prioritizing this. By the way, huge thanks to Kino Lorber for making these videos possible each and every month. I love working with them to publicize these releases. Kino Lorber puts out the kind of stuff that I want to watch, that I want to talk about. It's really right up my alley, right? And it's right up a lot of your guys' alley too, because you guys make these videos really, really popular every single month. So, Kindergarten Cop, it's not the tumor. Come on, do it. Can't comment on the video quality yet. I will know by the time this video is up. I'll talk in the comments below. I'm expecting this to look pretty darn great because it is sourced from 35mm materials, right? It is a new 4K scan. Brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the 35mm original camera negative. Those are all the planets aligned. That's what you want for 4K source material. It does come from Universal, who I think has a pretty good track record with most of their 4K releases. And the ones that aren't, like I'm thinking of American Graffiti, right? And like George Lucas, like Lucasfilm was involved in that one, as far as I know, right? So who knows? It could go either way, but I will let you guys know what I think about it in the comments by the time this video is posted. We got audio commentary. Hey, let's see if we got any cool reversible art in here, like reversible art wrap. Audio commentary by Alexandra Heller Nicholas and Josh Nelson, and then another audio commentary by Sam Deegan. All right, let's see. Negative. We do have the 4K and the Blu-ray. They're a super fun movie. I remember watching this on VHS. I'm trying to say, like, did I see it on VHS first, or did I see it on like network television? It might have actually been network television. I'm not sure. The Begins. Some things shouldn't be disturbed. There is no escapes. Another case of brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the original camera negative. Again, it's the best case scenario. Some people are going to be like, no, best case scenario is like a digital to digital source. But see, I'm a film guy. I'm a film grain guy, and things shot on digital lack soul to me. So for me, this is what I want. We got audio commentary by the director and the writer and actress Rebecca Balding, moderated by Jeff McKay, film historian Jeff McKay. We got audio commentary by actor Jeff Harlan and film historian Howard S. Berger, and then a featurette, William Munn's The Man Who Made The Begins. So let's see if we have any alternate artwork. Oh, we got a floater. Let me get that back on its spindle. That was the 4K disc too that popped off. We do. Ooh. All right, well, I got to flip it. Hold on. Let me flip this around. Very nice. What do you guys think about The Begins? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Awesome film. This is He Walked by Night. Richard Basehart. I want to say this is very early. What year is this? 1948. Pretty early in Richard Basehart's career, if memory serves. I'm just going on. This is one of these that just showed up. However, I do have this film on Blu-ray from Classic Flicks. This was from a 16-bit 4K scan of the 35mm fine grain. So this is going to look better. It's a brand new master. It's going to look better than what I've got on Blu-ray from Classic Flicks because it's a newer scan. I'm trying to think, was this Anthony Mann? I'm looking to see if this was Anthony Mann. Screenplay by John C. Higgins. Additional screenplay. Where is the director credit, you guys? Here we go. An uncredited Anthony Mann, T-Man, with stunning cinematography by John Alton. This is a gorgeous film to look at. When I talk about noir and having a look, long shadows, long alley scenes where it's at night and they're backlit and the shadow goes all the way down the alley. This is one of the most beautifully shot noir films I've ever seen. This does have Jack Webb in it, as well as my memory serves, he's a forensics guy, like the bullet forensics guy. Okay, I'm just gonna read. Okay, we'll read the back because again, I'm just going. This just showed up like 10 minutes ago. This film noir classic was the inspiration not only for TV's Dragnet, also with Webb, but for many subsequent ripped from the headlines crime dramas. Taken from actual case files, He Walked by Night is the suspenseful, action-packed tale of a manhunt for the most cunning criminal in the history of the LAPD. With a combination of ingenuity, state-of-the-art technology, sweat, and sheer determination, the police painstakingly track down the brilliant, elusive thief and cop killer played by Basehart, and only his third film. I told you guys it was early. This is all just pulling all that from the top of the dome. Who seems to have the ability to vanish into thin air, but can they catch him before he murders again? This gritty, groundbreaking police procedural features direction by Alfred L. Worker and an uncredited Anthony Mann, with cinematography by John Alton, who wrote the book Light and Shadow, Painting with Light and Shadow, talking about how you use light with black and white cinematography. Ooh, we got a reversible slipcover, a reversible art wrap. How you use light and shadow to paint the canvas of the screen. One of the best cinematographers that's ever walked, ever lensed the film. This is great. I haven't even watched this new transfer yet. I can already tell you this is one of the best, one of my favorite, I won't say one of the best, one of my favorite January releases. Get it. Monk Season 2 and Monk Season 3. Monk Season 3 is still sealed. It just showed up, so I can't comment on it. I still haven't watched Monk yet. I'm watching Psych. You know, Psych came out a few months ago. I'm still doing Psych. And I'm also doing Columbo. And I'm like, do I have room in my heart? Do I have room in my life for another detective show? I will get to these at some point. It's cool that they're doing these season by season and getting them out monthly, you know. I think... I've heard from you guys, like, why are they not releasing them all at one time as a complete series set? Frank told us he's going to do it month by month, but hey, it's all going to be done within just a matter of months. So that's exciting. We don't have to wait like 6 months per volume. I love this too. You know, this is the kind of thing that I live and breathe. This is Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 16. I've watched all 3 of the films. I'm going to limit my coverage because I have something very exciting planned for this release. I'm going to be doing a dedicated review video with someone really soon. And that video will be popping up probably within a week after this video goes up. I'll tell you this. There's 3 films here. There is The Mystery of Marie Roget, which is sort of based on... Poe material, and like Edwardian, Victorian is 1800 stuff. 2K scan, it looks great. 2K scan of the fine grain. Chicago Deadline with Alan Ladd and Donna Reed, and Iron Man with Jeff Chandler. The cast on this, guys: Jeff Chandler, Evelyn Keyes, Stephen McNally, Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson in a pretty notable role. Also James Arness, billed as Jim Arness. Jim Backus, lovely. Thurston Howell III from Gilligan's Island, but he's a sports writer in this. So I'll tell you, so I loved one of these movies, I liked one of these movies, and I did not care for another one of these movies. So you got to stay tuned to see which is which. By the way, audio commentary by Alan K. Rody. We got an audio commentary by Tom Weaver, Gary L. Prang. It's kind of a monster movie. It's kind of like a thriller, kind of like a... Well, I'll tell you, this was put into the Shock Theater package, the Universal Shock Theater packages of one of them. I think there were 2 packages, right? Maybe there's more than that. In the, I guess it was the late 50s. Audio commentary by Tom Weaver, Gary L. Prang, and Tom Zimmerman, author of The Queen of Technicolor, because this is another Maria Montez movie. Again, I'm talking too much about it. I got to save it for the dedicated video. Audio commentary by Kim Newman and Stephen Jones, and then a theatrical trailer, and then an audio commentary by Gary Girani. I'll put these back in the order that they came out of the slipcase. Coming Home, John Voight's Vietnam veteran returning soldier. A man who believed in war, a man who believed in nothing, and a woman who believed in both of them. This is, let's see, nominated, it was won 3 Oscars. Let's see, perhaps the most powerful, won 3 Oscars for Best Actress for Jane Fonda. I got more to say about Jane Fonda later in this video. Best Actor for John Voight, and Best Original Screenplay. We got audio commentary by John Voight, Bruce Dern, and the cinematographer Haskell Wexler. Wow. And a featurette, Coming Back Home, and then a featurette on Hal Ashby, A Man Out of Time. This is still sealed. Let me see if we got any reversible arts on the art wrap. No. Negative. It just impacted on the surface. All right. The Devil's Brigade. There are going to be a few reissues in here. Movies that I already have. We've already talked about. Kino Lorber's already put out years ago. Went out of print. We've been talking about this every month. They're getting things back in print. They've renegotiated some of these licenses. They've renewed some titles and added, better encodes. Sometimes better special features where there were none. So this is William Holden, Cliff Robertson, Vince Edwards in The Devil's Brigade, 1968. I think we got another 1968 Manly Man movie here coming up in just a second. Audio commentary by Steve Mitchell and Combat Films American Realism author Stephen J. Rubin. Do we have... No alternate artwork. By the way, I'll hold this up for you. Freeze that if you want to read it. Here's another one that's some of us already have, but this is a new edition. This is The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. The cast on this, you guys: Carl Reiner, Eva Marie Saint, Alan Arkin, Brian Keith, Jonathan Winters, Theodore Bickel, and Paul Ford. This has, what did they add here? Audio commentary by Michael Schlesinger and Mark Evanier. You can see Mark Evanier on my interview here about Dungeons and Dragons. The man does it all. So interesting. Mark Evanier is like such a rock star. He is one of the co-creators of I'm trying to put it the co-writer. He's the writer, the co-creator, I guess, of Gru. Yeah. He creates the comic every month. Gru. Sergio Aragonés's Gru. He's been writing it for decades. Okay, so there's that. Then there's all of his animation work in the 70s and the 80s. Then there's his comic book work, being like the protege of Jack Kirby. And then there's his film preservation stuff. And so then I interviewed him about Dungeons and Dragons because it was the 40th anniversary of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon series, the animated series. And then 2 weeks later, I interviewed the Mendelsohn, Lee Mendelssohn's sons, talking about Peanuts. They were talking about the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving soundtrack that had been recently discovered. And they're like, Mark Evanier is such a hero for us. Like, they started talking about him because he knew them. He was like, you told those boys. I said hello. And they were like, what a great, we love Mark Evanier. He knows so much. They're like, we would go visit him and just look at his comic book collection. So Mark Evanier is here, and he's been on this show. That's the important thing. The Russians Are Coming to Hollywood is a feature of director Norman Jewison. By the way, anything we needed? No. Ooh, did not like that sound. It folded up the plastic corner. Run Silent, Run Deep, one of the all-time greats, submarine combat movies. Clark Gable, Burt Lancaster. Robert Wise, one of the most eclectic. Some people say Robert Wise is not an auteur because he directed in so many different styles. I think Robert Wise is one of our great directors. Anyway, great film, absolutely great film. I would say, so what's the name of the, I wasn't planning on talking about this. This is a Star Trek episode that is basically Run Silent, Run Deep in space. It's like a submarine combat, but they're in their ship, right? And I believe is it the Enterprise and the Romulans, if memory serves? What's the name of that episode? You guys, Star Trek fans, know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't pull the name right now. Doesn't it have Mark Leonard, who played Sarek in it? You guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, audio commentary by Steve Mitchell, and Combat Films American Realism author Stephen J. Rubin. Hey, we got reversible art here. And you notice there's no restoration notes on any of this, so it leads me to believe that this is the same transfer that we've previously had, not a new transfer. Like none of these reissues had new 4K scan or anything like that. This one does. This is not a reissue, as far as I know. Ooh, I cut myself. I cut myself. I'm not going to show you guys. I'm bleeding. I cut myself on one of these slip covers, tearing the shrink wrap off. Split Image, Michael O'Keefe, Karen Allen, James Woods. You've seen some of these movies before if you were tuning into my live streams, my bi-weekly live streams. Brand new HD master from a 2K scan of the 35mm interpositive. Audio commentary by Daniel Kramer. You know, I just heard Natasha Lyonne on the Conan O'Brien podcast, because she's, Poker Face is huge, and she was talking about James Woods, like working with James, like he was working with Brando dropped out, they replaced him with James Woods, and so she told a little story about working with James Woods. It's worth looking. What a great talent she is. I am fascinated by her. The Outside Man, directed by Jacques Deray. This is Jean-Louis Trintignant, Anne Margaret, Roy Scheider, and Angie Dickinson. My friend, composer Michael McCormick from the Jaws, The Shark is Still Working documentary. Hey, he's a huge Roy Scheider fan, and if he sees this, he's going to be jumping up and down that there's a new Roy Scheider movie, a new Roy Scheider Blu-ray. Maybe he'll also get a kick out of his shout-out here in this video. This has a new 4K scan of the 35mm original camera negative. If somebody's like, why no 4K? Well, because The Outside Man is risky. That's a risky 4K. I don't know that anybody knows how well this is going to sell. And some people seem to think that 4Ks and Blu-rays cost the exact same. That is not true. 4Ks cost a lot more to produce, to manufacture, to author, to encode. Even the raw materials cost more. So we got a Blu-ray for now. And if it sells like gangbusters, maybe one day we'll get a 4K. But for now, this is going to look pretty good. Odds Against Tomorrow, Harry Belafonte, Robert Ryan, and Shelley Winters. So this, I haven't watched it yet. This is really interesting to me. And Harry Belafonte is an actor, like, Deo, like, Beetlejuice, Deo. It's Harry Belafonte. I feel like history has minimized him to that, because the truth of Harry Belafonte was a lot more threatening. Like, he was very outspoken. He was big on the civil rights movement. He was big on equal rights, all that stuff. And I just watched an episode of the Merv Griffin Show from, I think it was 1966, with Harry Belafonte and Martin Luther King Jr. on the same episode. And it was fascinating. And Harry Belafonte just came across, looking great. And I like his film work. And maybe we don't talk about that enough. Now he's just the daylight come and me want to go home guy, which itself is like a really sad song about like working in the fields and stuff. This is a co-starring Ed Begley Jr., Gloria Graham, and produced and directed by Robert Wise. See previous comments about Robert Wise. Audio commentary by Alan K. Rody, who honestly is one of my favorite commentators. I need to ask him for an interview here on the channel, but here's the thing. He is so busy, so prolific. He's writing books. I'm kind of in awe of the man. And when I do it, I want to make sure that I've done all my homework and all my research so that I could do that interview justice. Check this out. So, past screening Q&A with star producer Harry Belafonte, Chicago, August 1st, 2009. And another past screening Q&A, post screening Q&A with actress Kim Hamilton, parts 1 and 2. That's from Los Angeles, 2007. So that's just 2 Q&As from 2 different showings. Does this have? Nope. Normally, I try to flip these out, flip out reversible artwork ahead of time, but I'm a little bit, it's been a little hectic here lately because I've been doing a lot of interviews and just like stuff happening behind the scenes too, like medical drama and stuff. It's been an intense few months, honestly. The hell with heroes. Super interested in this. I have not seen this yet. High on my priority list. Listen, Rod Taylor, Claudia Cardinale, Harry Guardino, they all had something to sell. Courage, sex, corruption. 1968, right? Yes, 1968. Brand new HD master from a 2K scan of the 35mm interpositive. You know who I bet ordered a copy of this? Tarantino. This is straight up Tarantino's alley. Set in North Africa and Europe immediately following World War II, The Hell with Heroes centers on two former U.S. Air Force pilots played by Rod Taylor and Pete Duell. Brini McKay and Mike Brewer are forced to work for Ruthless International. Okay, I'm just reading it to you guys. Really compelling stuff from an era. This is like Dirty Dozen era. You know, we're getting into this like mid to late 60s when, well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I just rewatched again, is like, this is that era. You know, this is that time period. That was 69, right? But that there's really a very specific kind of product that was hitting the movie screens. The Road to Hong Kong. We got another Road to movie, guys. Another Road to movie on Blu-ray. Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Joan Collins, and Dorothy Lamour. Sidebar, some company, I don't remember who, it's one of the CD companies, is putting out a Dorothy Lamour CD collection taken from her Paramount performances from like a 20-year period. And I wasn't even going to talk about that. I saw that like last night, and here's Dorothy Lamour. No restoration notes on this. It doesn't look like it's particularly a new transfer or anything like that. But we've got audio commentary by Michael Schlesinger and archivist historian Stan Taffel. These are the road movies, guys. This is the seventh and final road movie from the irresistibly charming duo of Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. Huge, these movies are epic, right? There's a ton of them. The Road to Bali, The Road to Morocco, right? There's a bunch of these road movies, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful. So now we have, are they all 7 in print? I'm going to have to do my research. Well, you guys, do the research on that and let me know in the comments. Are they all, I know Kino Lorber at one point in time, I think they've released all of them. So do we now have all 7 in print at the same time? This is another one that I'm super excited about. Has anybody seen my gal? Piper Lui, who a lot of people only know as the mom and Carrie. They're all going to laugh at you. But one of the Universal star players, one of the Universal featured players in the 1950s, who, I shout out Lee Gambin, who I've interviewed here on my podcast. He got to spend some time with Piper Lui in doing his research for certain projects, and I think he really loved her. I don't know how you couldn't. She seems like she was absolutely wonderful. But this is, Piper Lui, Rock Hudson, Charles Coburn, Gigi Perot, and it's 52. It's 1952, which is going to be, it's pre-rock, but let's see. It's a 2K scan, 35mm interpositive. This is going to look great. The year is 1928, when an elderly millionaire, Sam Fulton, reflects on his life and the love that got away. He decides to bequeath his fortune to his late beloved's existing family. If they're worthy, of course, disguising himself as a poor lodger, he takes up residence with the middle class. It's just one of those like fun, swinging, party kind of movies. These would evolve over the next decade to 15 years into something sexier, but this is just that cast, this era, both the era that it's set in and the era that it was made in, really interesting to me. All right, those are the Kino Lorber Studio Classics. Now we're moving into other areas of Kino Lorber. So this is going to be Kino Classics, Bridget Bardot, and Please Not Now. This is directed by Roger Vadim, correct? Let me check myself. Through the fetish. Bridget Bardot, playful sex kitten of the 1960s French cinema, stars in this madcap romantic comedy seen through the fetishizing lens of Roger Vadim, Barbarella, and God Created Woman. He's the director of Barbarella. He was married to Jane Fonda. I watched an episode of the Merv Griffin Show where he was interviewing both Jane Fonda and Roger Vadim. And Roger Vadim did not come across looking great. He seemed distant, kind of aloof. A little misogynistic, because he was talking about kind of like the manipulation of the woman to get them to take their clothes off. It was a very interesting conversation. But the central thing was like, well, you're the guy that got Bridget Bardot to take her clothes off, right? This is a very sexy movie. And Jane Fonda, also very sexy, Barbarella, right? Like, he directed his wife in Barbarella. Talked about the Playboy shoot for that Jane Fonda was in, that he didn't have anything to do with, and how it bothered him and made him jealous. It's very interesting. I'm telling you guys, the talk shows of the past have no resemblance to the talk shows today. They were wild. They could go anywhere. You were like, how in the world did this make it to air? But I'm telling you, it's crazy stuff. We got an audio commentary by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and a U.S. theatrical trailer. Now here's from Cohen Media Group. It's our last Blu-ray. This is a double feature. 2 British wartime classics directed by Lewis Gilbert. We've got The Sea, Shall Not Have Them, and Albert R.N. So we got Michael Redgrave, Dirk Bogarde, Anthony Steele, Jack Warner, Robert Beatty, William Sylvester. Do we have any restoration notes here? I don't see any notes. I don't even see any special features here, but hey, 2 movies. This is the kind of thing that's not on my radar, and then this stuff shows up, and I'm like, huh, and then I usually discover it, and I'm like, well, this is wonderful, and I had no idea. These videos, I say this pretty much every month, these videos afford me so much discovery of things I would not even know to look for. This is from Kino Lorber distributing, I don't see another company here, so it's 4 Daughters. This riveting exploration of rebellion, memory, and sisterhood reconstructs the story of Ulfa Hammurani and her 4 daughters, unpacking a complex family history through the intimate interviews, examining the Tunisian women's 2 eldest, how they were radicalized as by Islamic extremists. We got a interview with the director, and I'm going to flip this around so you can see everything that's there. It's a DVD. But you know what? More people buy DVDs than buy Blu-rays and 4K. Sometimes buy the other 2 formats combined. Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. This is the winner of a Sundance winner. Women share their innermost secrets and intimate experiences inside an Estonian smoke sauna, cleansing their bodies and bearing their souls. Did you hear how I got I got kind of husky? They embrace the healing powers of sisterhood. Anahin's Sundance-winning documentary celebrates the centuries-old smoke sauna tradition, recognized on the UNESCO representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. All right, I see no special features. It's in Estonian with optional English subtitles. I'll flip it around. Are you guys into throat singing? Because have I got the film for you? This is a documentary / concert film of the Inuk throat singer Tanya Tagaq. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. So she's always had well, I'm not going to read this to you guys, but the New York Times said that it demands your full attention, whether she's whispering in her softest register or howling at the sky. It weaves together intimate concert footage and personal reflections. So I have no, how would anybody even know this is a thing? Now somebody's gonna be like, I've got 5 albums by that person. Most of us have no idea this is even a thing, but these documentaries get us talking about it. And like every one of these that I've watched, I want to make sure I'm not being hyperbolic. I think every one of these that I've ever watched, these documentaries, I came away with like some deeper appreciation of something I didn't even know existed. I was like, wow. This is not a documentary. This is from Cinephobia Releasing. This is Fireworks. It's a tale of homosexual awakening and love in Sicily in the summer of 1982. And there's some special features there. Let you guys read that. I see all the festival screening entry things here at the top. Here's another. This is a documentary, right? Yeah, Piano Forte. The world's most talented young pianists compete in the International Chopin Piano Competition, held every 5 years in Warsaw, Poland. Polish watchers, Polish viewers, hi. Are you aware of the International Chopin Piano Competition that happens every year in Warsaw, every 5 years in Warsaw? It's a rare behind-the-scenes triumph of crushing lows, triumphant highs and crushing lows. I see no special features here either. But you know what? I bet it's compelling. You ever watch those documentaries about like spelling bees and stuff? Well, I'm gonna save this one for last because that's gonna be the sexiest one. We got two series releases. This is the I'm guessing Mville. I'm guessing that's pronounced Mville. This is a French. I feel like I got a floater in here. And the cozy addictive detective series set in Bordeaux. Famed French character actor Francis Perrin. Stars as Antoine Mville, a gruff yet brilliant former investigating judge who never lets it. Okay, I'm just reading to you guys. They put out a whole series. And let's see. Any special features? I'm not seeing special features. And they're in these packages like this. And then another entire series, also from France, I believe. This is Magellan, Jacques Spicer. If you're not afraid to admit you're a Midsommar fan, you should start watching Magellan immediately, says Mike Hale of the New York Times. Intrigue, betrayal, sabotage. And that's just Inspector Simon Magellan's home life as a divorced single father raising two teenage daughters. Veteran French actor Jacques Spicer stars as the meticulous homicide detective in this fictional French town of Sagnac? Yeah. Let's see. Any features here? Hey, it's got bonus crossover episodes between Magellan and Mville. So it's the cinematic universe. The Magellan Mville cinematic universe. Did this have the crossover episodes? I don't think it does. I think they're only here. Bonus crossover episodes. Very cool. All right, so the last thing that I was saving, because I know how to tease you, right? It's the SNM Hunter Begins. This is like a prequel to SNM Hunter. The story of how an average salaryman became an SNM superhero. This is from Sacrament. So, like, full disclosure, this is not my cup of tea. This is not something that I know anything about, but I know a lot of you guys are into this stuff. And if you're into SNM Hunter, there's a prequel. What year was this made? This was 1985. It's 59 minutes long. It's in Japanese. The story behind the legend. This is the prequel and origin story of the cult film SNM Hunter from 1986. Oh, this actually came out before SNM Hunter. It tells of how an average salaryman became the world's first sadomasochistic superhero. Now, for the first time, we learn how Roger... Is this really... I don't know. Okay. What do you guys know about this? What do you know about SNM Hunter? Again, a DVD. But if you are into this kind of thing, well, here you go. I love these videos. I love talking about this stuff. When I get to, like, okay, let's recap, right? We've talked about Roger Vadim. We've talked about Jane Fonda. We've talked about Clark Gable. We've talked about Burt Lancaster. We've talked about Richard Basehart. We've talked about multiple film noir. We have talked about military films, late 60s military films. These are incredible hauls. And I feel like I should address at the start of the year, I was like, I've got to cut back on certain parts of my collection. This is not the kind of thing I want to cut back on. I want to be very clear. Like, I love covering these releases. These are clearly, this is made for me, right? Not everything, not all of it, right? But the studio classics, these deep noir cuts, I love that stuff, right? So I just want to make it clear. This is the kind of stuff I want to talk about. This is the kind of things that are I was made to talk about. I don't think you're going to get this kind of coverage on a lot of other YouTube channels. And hey, if it spurs you to go watch some Merv Griffin episodes with Richard Pryor on Merv Griffin. You've never seen Richard Pryor if you haven't seen him on Merv Griffin. Look up the Jerry Lewis appearance with Richard Pryor. It's crazy. It's end up spitting water on. It's chasing each other, spitting water on each other. This is great. This is a blast. I want to thank Kino Lorber. Remember to you can find these. It's like, where do I go? You can find these releases on Kino Lorber's website, Kino Lorber Studio Classics, and the Kino Lorber proper website. If you choose to go through Amazon, I put an Amazon link in the description of every single video. It's an affiliate link. Anything you buy through that link does support Serial at Midnight. I thank you for doing that. Anything that you can do to kick a little bit back to Serial at Midnight, that does help. Your views help. Those thumbs ups help. comments, subscribe, all that. That's the way you can help Serial at Midnight. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this monthly Kino Lorber coverage. It is genuinely one of my favorite videos to make each and every month because I get to just geek out about the kind of movies that I love. And you show up and you get to hang out and watch it. Like, you guys show up for these videos like you rarely do for some of the other stuff, and I really appreciate that. So there's new stuff on the way. I'll probably talk about it in my next live stream. So if you want to get a sneak peek on February, tune into the next live stream, and if you're subscribed, you'll know when it's happening. So thanks to Kino Lorber, thanks to you guys. I appreciate you. Take care. Until next time, I will catch you later.